Mock exam 1 for test 1 of the basic Excel part. Probably we should call it mock exam 4, but since we are using a different format, the format of the midterm exam at AMSIP, so we just for now call it mock exam 1 test 1. Okay, now we have 11 questions, and each question should be simple enough for us to do it in one go. So let's have a look at the first question. We have an item called a memory stick. We have 3 of them and selling for €4 per unit. So the cost would be equal the quantity times the unit price. That's it. So simple, right? But this is the result. The answer is actually the formula. To make sure have the right answer, that you should always copy the formula, not the result. Okay, here let's go to question 2. Enlarge it. Change to English. Okay, here we have a number 5, and first multiply by 6, then add 8. The result would be is 5 times 6 and add 8. So this is quite straightforward. We got the answer. But for the upcoming ones, make sure you read the instruction on the syllabus as well to make sure that you know what the question is asking for. 38 is the result, and this is the answer. Let's move to the next question, question number 3. We have done a similar exercise before. It's about the relative cell reference. So if we want to know the sum of these two cells, we would add B3 to B4. And if we copy this cell into another cell, to copy it in the full format, not the special one, then we will find out the cells that referred to B3 and B4 will follow the pasting function, and now we have E4 plus E5, which is the answer of this question. Q4, there's no data available for this question, but if we look at the instruction on the syllabus, it shows a few examples about how do you do a mathematical function, that if you have parentheses, you calculate first what's within the parentheses, and if you have multiply or division, then you have those first before add and minus. So let's see this example. Will have us to do the math question of 5 plus 3 times 2 and to the power of 5. Okay, of course you can try to figure this out by yourself on a scrap paper, but I assume you can also use Excel to help you. Now we have our answer, 101. We just use Excel to help us to calculate this, but in the end you should know this part comes first, then this part comes first, and then this whole part, and in the end we do the plus. Alright, the next question, question 5, is calculating the price based on the VAT and looking for a VAT amount. So we have the VAT percentage, and now we just need to know the VAT amount. So we have done this many times. We use the VAT amount, the total amount to multiply the VAT percentage, and that percentage, since we are using it again and again, we better lock it so we can drag this formula downwards. So using F4, only locking the row because we are only dragging it downwards. Here we go. Alright, that is question 5. Again, this is the answer, not the number. Question 6. We have a small table here. It shows 18 pence per package and 50 cents per pen. So that means per package we should have 18 times 0.5. And here we have 2 packages, 4 and 6 and so on. So we first need to calculate the number of pens times price per pen. We have the price of a package. And then if we add it by another package, then we have 2. So here we're gonna multiply this one. So we have 2. And later when we calculate the rest, these 2 should move along, but the other should be fixed. The 18 should still be there and the 50 cents should still be there. That's a sign for us to lock the row. And now we have all the prices. This is the formula. That formula should be the answer. Okay. Not losing it by pressing enter. Next one, question 7. This one looks more complicated. So we have baby, child, and adult. For the number of presents 75, 300, and 650. Here we have the price per present and also the shipping cost. So the shipping cost is applying for every present. So no matter which category of present you buy, you always pay the shipping cost. So let's see if we can get it right. First, we will calculate for baby that we should have the price for baby times the number of presents. Probably also adding the shipping cost into it. So let's add the shipping cost. Since we know the multiply function will be calculated first, then we should add these things together to try to avoid mistakes. So here we have I3 plus I7. That's one gift, including the shipping cost, and times 75 of gifts. So we have 412.50. If you compare to the screenshot on your syllabus, it is the same. So that's a good sign. But if we want to use this formula both downwards and horizontally, then we need to lock some cells. For example, the I7 should always stay there. And since we are moving in both directions, so the I7 should be locked in both directions. How about I3? I3, it should, when we move downwards, it should move downwards. But when we move horizontally, the price should stay in the column I. So that means we will lock the column I and leave the 3, the row number, flexible. And how about the C4? The C4, later when we drag it downwards, we want the 75 still be there, so the row cannot be changed. But if the column changes, then the number of presents should also change. So we leave the column flexible, but now lock the row. So this exercise actually tests you many small functions, and if you achieve this part, then we are safe to drag it both downwards and horizontally. If you compare to the answer, it is exactly matching. So what's important is to figure out this one, to figure out this answer. If you have the right answer in this step, the rest is just a matter of drag and drop. That is question 7. Let's move on to question 8. In question 8, we have a simple exercise to add everything together. In order to add things together, we need to use the formula, the function sum. And the sum function we have here can cover the whole range. So that means if we insert one extra line, it will still work. And we can easily drag it horizontally to be applied for other columns. This one is the answer. Question 9. We have a table here telling you who are the customers, what kind of products he or she bought, and the amount of the product. So we want to know the total sales of Apple, and then it should be a simple calculation of adding these two up. 250 and 300, then we have 550. However, in this kind of question, you will not only adding C4 and C6, but first you want to figure out how many transactions of the product of apples has happened, and then adding those transactions up. In any case, if we have one extra transaction, for example here, and still that the product sold is apples, this formula should also work, and the amount of apples should just automatically update. So in this case, we know we need to have a total, and we know there is a condition that the sales must be about Apple, so we use the SUMIF function. And if you can read the criteria here, the arguments here, first you need to have the range, where to find your keywords. Is this range here? Not really, because this is what we want to have all those numbers adding up. But the criteria range should be here. This is where we look for apples. And the criteria, remember the quotation marks, the criteria here is apples. It's actually not case sensitive, so you can either write the A as capital or not. Doesn't matter. And the sum range, before it was optional because we didn't have a sum range that has two columns that we search in one and then we add in the other, but now we do. So the sum range is this part, is where it contains values. So read it again. SUMIF, we use SUMIF because there is a condition, and the range is where we search for the keyword apples, and the apples is here as criteria, and if apple is found, then we add values in this range. So if apple is found here, then we will add 250. This is bananas, then we don't add the 100, and so on. Okay, 550, just as we expected. Just to test it whether it's working, we can also change this one to apples. It automatically changes. Okay. This is question 9. Let's move on to question 10. So the question 10 is quite similar than question 9. We also need to add some numbers together if a certain keyword is hit. In this case, the keyword is sales, and the salary of sales departments should be added together. So again, sum if, and now the range is this part where the keyword is from. And for the criteria, we are searching for sales. And for the sum range, where are our numbers from, is this one. Okay. That's it. Similar to question 9. And now we finish it. This is answer again, only the formula, not the number. Question 11, very last one. It's about the number of days to keep a book. It's 14 days. And now we're asking for a formula. Say if the book is borrowed for today, then when should the person return the book? So when you talk about today, you can have the today function, right? So this is the date of today. And if you need to return it after 14 days, that will be the date of today plus 14 days. So here we go, we have a new date. However, we must keep in mind to not add any additional values in the exam paper. So that means we have to combine these two in one. We have to combine the date of today and the rule of 14 days into one cell. So in the end, this one will tell you how long do you have the right to keep the book. Here we go, 6th of June 2020. The same result, but remember, do not add more information. Okay, this is all 11 questions on the mock exam 1 test 1. Good luck with your midterm exam. I'll see you in the next video.